I'm Anna Delgado. I'm a partner at Ashurst, specialising in finance. I've been involved in the Emerging Artist Prize since its inception 6 years ago, and I have been a judge on the panel since then. I think my passion for the arts, or my interest, I suppose I should say, stems from my school times. Actually, I had an amazing teacher who taught us art, introduced us to anything from very early artists, from Leonardo da Vinci through centuries, and sort of ended up in modern world of art. So that was really fascinating, and I think it inspired the interest, and I suppose woke up the interest in me. I love colour. I love the sort of visual side of art, anything that's sort of aesthetically pleasing but also challenging. So art comes into it, in the same way as cinema or theatre or architecture. Anything that I can see and anything that kind of wakes me up and makes me happy. And art is very much like that. I love theatre. It's one of my favourite things, going to the theatre and watching plays and being immersed in that sort of different reality. The sort of artistic movements that I'd be interested in would be, I love abstract art. I do love expressionism. I'm always finding myself drawn to figurative art. Absolute fan of Egon Schiele. The sort of, the rawness of the colour and the sort of vulnerability, and also the sort of passion of his art. I love that. But I'm also very, very keen on street art. So I'll be walking through Shoreditch and looking at street art and taking photographs and sort of wondering, what next, because the sort of transient nature and the urban kind of combination of the urban and the colour and the transient nature of it just fascinates me. So anything that you throw at me, I love. I love Modigliani. And I'm also quite a lover of Leonardo da Vinci, so not really, I think it's quite eclectic, my taste, I would say. Anything that's pretty, anything that's challenging, colourful and skillful and talented, I think I'd be very, very keen on. I think I'm also incredibly interested in architecture, so anything that sort of combines the two. Quite a lot of the art that would have architecture as a theme or some sort of connection, I think will also speak to me very often. So yes, street art, architecture, abstract art and expressionism, I suppose that's where I'd go. After 6 years on the judging panel, I think it's time to reflect. And I have actually, I love the experience. It's been phenomenal for me. I've learned a huge amount. I've learned lots of interesting expressions from the judges on the panel, the fellow judges. I think I've learned how to look at art in a slightly more critical way. I've also learned what to look for in an artwork. Not just looking at something that's painted in a pretty way, but actually what to look for. So for me it's been very educational and great fun actually, and I've met a lot of interesting people, lovely new artists, and it's been great to be able to make a difference to some of those artists who won the prize. So for me it's been fantastic. Having artwork in our office, in our brand new office, which is lovely in itself, is actually really lovely. What's fantastic is that we have this beautiful art that we can look at. We sit in meetings and have beautiful paintings that we can look at and marvel over, but also it creates a talking point. And so we have a lot of clients coming into our office and ask about art, and we suddenly discover that apart from the fact that they are people we work with, they actually have got something else in common with us. They like art, they are interested in it, and quite often we talk about the meaning of some of those paintings. So it does create an extra talking point which we all kind of enjoy. There are people who come and ask where you can buy this art or where you can see more of it, and sometimes maybe it awakes interest in art in some of the people who maybe haven't had a chance to come across art in that way. People are often asking us what our responsibility is towards the society and maybe artists. I see it more as a privilege rather than responsibility. I think we are very lucky and very privileged to be able to support emerging artists. We are in a position to do it. We love doing it, we're very committed to it, but I see it more of a privilege than actually responsibility. this year and in the future years, I think what I am particularly looking forward to is seeing something new, some innovation, something. Obviously everything that we get is creative, but it's quite difficult, I think, to come up with something different. A lot of it is lovely and beautiful, but you're looking for something that's slightly different, slightly more innovative, slightly more creative in a kind of different way. So that's what I am looking forward to this year and in the next few years. So one thing I would say to our new entrants, obviously I can't advise on the quality of the art or what the art is representing, but what I would say, and I suppose as a lawyer, that your statement that is supporting your art is quite important. It's not the most important thing, but it does, if it supports it, it should support it well. And I would say spend some time thinking about your statement, but do not overcomplicate it. Sometimes the simplicity is very important, and also honesty. I think honesty shines through, and I think if you can be honest and not overcomplicate it, I think it'll be a great support to your art. We definitely need more people who buy art, because we try to help emerging artists, but in order for them to be able to, I suppose, be able to create full-time, they need to be able to sell it. So I guess you're right, the commerciality is an interesting concept. We certainly need more appreciation of art, especially among people who can buy it, who have got the money.